Hey, what's going on, Legacy family? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a tutorial for the Odell Beckham Jr. style haircut. I'm also giving this young man a custom design. This look is still being requested in 2024 and is also one of my favorite iconic cuts to do, so I'm looking forward to showing you guys.
No, they don't do it like this no more.
Legacy, legacy, legacy.
You know it's all about the
Legacy, legacy, legacy.
Our children start without the
Legacy, legacy, legacy.
Get on your job and start a
Legacy, legacy, legacy.
You can't fall without the
Legacy, legacy, legacy.
You know it's all about the
Legacy, legacy, legacy.
Our children start without the
Legacy, legacy, legacy.
Get on your job and start a
Legacy, legacy, legacy.
You can't fall without the
Alright guys, so we want to start out by setting in our foundation. Alright, so I'm asking him where he wants it. He ultimately chooses to go low, so I start a little bit lower. And so we drop low in that area and start to press in the quadruple zero guideline with my T-shaper recharges from the Supreme Trimmer Company. I've been ranting and raving about these for a reason, because they are effective, they're good, and they're smooth for the client, especially young ones like him. Moving on to the second side, I'm going to do just like I did the first side. I like to be efficient keeping the same tool in this area so that I don't have to keep switching between different tools. So if I start with detail, then I'm following through with that detail prior to moving up to the next guideline and using another tool. Now that we have the quadruple guideline punched in, I'm gonna grab my seniors, lever open, and create a new guideline above that first one. And we're going up about a finger's width above that first guideline. And so you want to make sure that you're brushing and you're being consistent, using the corners to make sure that guideline is consistently one level. And once I have it pressed in, then I close my lever and I use my corners to do the detailing and bringing things together. This is called trigger play. Is when you open and close your lever to knock out the darkness in certain areas, like this one right here or that one. So I'm using my corners here, and of course I have the lever closed. This is something that comes with a little muscle memory. That's why it's important to get as much cuts in as possible. Now, so I put on the one guard that you saw there, and now I'm doing the same thing, creating another guideline, and I'm trying to make sure that it's parallel. And I'm doing as many passes to make sure that that guideline that I'm setting in with the lever open is consistently that same shade, basically. You want to make sure that the top of this next guideline is parallel with the bottom line. That's why it's important when you're setting your zero guideline to be very consistent, because that ends up being the shape of your fade. As you see here, I'm just making sure that it's all even. And then I come in with my half guard. And I actually half my lever. This is kind of an advanced technique, but I half my lever and I attack that 0.5 line that leads into that 1.5, blending it out. This thing it works like magic if you know what you're doing. And so I would recommend that you use this guard. I like to use the Wall Premium guards for my fading. Most of the time I believe that they're the best for my workflow. So I'm doing the same thing, doing some trigger play, closing the lever if I see a spot, and I'm using my corners, the rest of the blade off of the head on a 45-degree angle so it doesn't push the line up. Then what I want to do is plant my corner down and have the rest of the teeth here off of the scalp, angled almost at a 45-degree angle so that none of those other teeth affect the hair above. Now I'm going ahead and get some space here. I want to push the hair from the parietal ridge just so I can make sure it's not cut, because we want to have a little bit of hangover. And I'm putting my hair grips here in order to push that hair out the way. That's what these things are really good for. With my 1.5 guard, I have them closed and I'm going with the grain because I want to keep this area thick. You'll see in the end that this area ends up being still dark. You want to make it look like it's cut, but also debulk in a way that is minimal. Of course, I went against the grain and I have the lever open here. And I'm just attacking this part of the blend, setting in about a 2 guideline. It's a small 2. And so I'm creating another guideline here that is not doing a whole lot, only because we've already debulked it. Now in this area, since it all came together, I have my half guard and I'm taking out a little bit of the line that I pointed out, using my corners so that I don't push up into that 1.5. All right. I'm using a little hold spray here just so I can lay the hair flat. It's going to allow it to look and stay in the way that I want it to, especially for the line up here. I'm using my T-shaper recharges on the corner to etch out that line. And I'm bracing my finger and using my finger as an anchor. If you watch close enough, any of my videos, you see that I really like to plant my hand, the control and the steadiness and the dexterity that we need to get into the nook and crannies of the lineup, or even just spot detail in the fade. Now I'm using my full shaver here just to make that fade area pop. And I'm doing the same technique here on the side that I did on the other side, but I'm leaving a little bit more bulk because I plan on starting my design. And I'm gonna do like I did on the other side, use that hair grip to pull the hair out the way and a little hairspray so that that hair will lay in place and lay down where I need it to stay. And I'm debulking just like I did on the other side with the 1.5 open and then closing it as I go down. Now with that same guard, I'm gonna come against the grain and then I'm grabbing my 1 guard and I'm just bringing the fade together. All right guys, so this is the design that he chose, but I don't do duplication, so I'm just gonna turn this into something like a freestyle and using that as the baseline. Shout out to the artist that did that. I used hairspray here and blow dried it so that the preliminary line that we're gonna set in hits crispy on 1 pass. I don't want to irritate his skin, so I'm just doing 1 pass here prior to us doing the color processing. When doing designs, guys, you want to make sure that you understand that there's a top of the design and a bottom, and making sure that both are clean is paramount to the design coming out clean, sharp, like you want. Now, of course, this is a preliminary of what the design will look like at the end, but I don't want to push in too much because we do have color processing. Now, you need to know when to use your corners and lift the rest of the blade off the head, and when to use it flat. Obviously, in those tighter spaces, you want to learn how to use the corner of your blade. I use holding spray here and also in the front to start our lineup. All right, so now that it's laying down, you want to make sure you brush it. I'm using my T-shaper recharges to go ahead and take off anything that's coming over that line and do some cleanup at the bottom. And then Of course, I'm using my Stylecraft instincts to polish and finesse the fade here. I got the lever open and I'm doing floated strokes, not with a lot of pressure because I wanted to kind of feather the fade. You know, different pressures kind of create different results. Here I have a 1.5 on and I'm actually just blending some of that bulk together with the lever open. All right, so I actually, realized how dry his hair was, and I have to actually saturate it for this part with my hydro steamer just to allow the product to actually better spread in the hair. So I'm using a pointed hair pick with the wide body, and I'm holding his hair, and I'm just picking out the tips so that I can actually make sure that hair is extended out and ready for the developer. Now I'm parting from the ear on both sides, and I'm creating a quadrant here to make it a little easier for me to process his hair evenly. He's gonna get some afro puffs here with a rubber band, and we're gonna do that for each quadrant of his hair. All right, I want to make sure I'm pulling it through and picking that hair out. And here's the developer and toner that I like to use. And I'm doing it at a 1:1 ratio. Want to mix it to a nice consistency. Since the hair is already damp, I'm going to just make sure that each parting is saturated. I'm rolling up into a ball. I mean, it's a very mild formula, and I don't mind if it gets a little bit on his hair. As you can see, a little bit spill over. It's not going to hurt because at the end of the look, you're not going to see it anyway. And I'm steaming out the back here. It had dried up. And I'm gonna apply it back there as well, and then apply a shower cap to lock in some of the heat, which just helps the process along. Here, I washed it out. As you can see, it has more of an ashy look to it. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with some hairspray and a blow dryer to lock down the hair and allow for the cut to be crispier. Right here, I'm using my corners and taking my time. You don't want to move too fast because you could kind of mess up your design. And so I'm taking my time and I'm making sure that the top is crispy, and I'm brushing and doing all my detail work at this point. All right, now I want to bring out my razors. Now I use the raw and uncut blade. I think that these are the sharpest on the market. Check them out. I'll put a link in my description. These things cut like lasers. And once I'm done with my razor blade, I want to use my detail brush and some semi-permanent to bring some contrast to the design. Taking my time, only adding color where I feel like it adds to the design. In the back here, I'm adding a thicker layer just to add to the detail and bring it together, and I'm thoroughly brushing that dye into the hair. So it's not as noticeable, it's not as dark. Afterwards, use some hold spray. It's gonna lock in your color. And since I'm already using the hold spray, we're gonna get to the front, spray and pull that hair away from the line, and just to get those finite hairs in the front. hit it with the blow dryer. It's gonna freeze it in place on cool. And then grab my T-shaper rechargers. Start in the middle, go to the left and right, whatever side that you like. But the middle just kind of gives you a foundation. Now I like to step back and look at the left and the right corners to make sure that they're lined up and continue brushing. Anything that goes over the line gets cut. Bringing that same energy to his C cup on his right side. I'm using my Barber Pencil here to add some highlights to his C cup. Now I only use a white Barber Pencil on clients that are light complected, his complexion or lighter, and because it's kind of hard to come out, and so I have a trick with sheen spray that I'm gonna show you guys coming up. I put some on my glove and I'll dab my clipper in there, and I'll use that as my highlight, and it makes it a little bit easier to smooth out. But what that does is tells me my boundaries for my enhancement. I like to use the flow enhancements because, man, like the name says, it flows smoothly out of your airbrush, and it's black and brown formula. You can spray it a little deeper or you can spray it a little lighter. It'll be either brown or black depending on how you spray it. And let me tell you this enhancement actually smells good. I get a lot of compliments on it. As always, I like to add fibers to my enhancements. It gives texture, it makes it look a lot less shiny. And then we're gonna finish up the look by using some sheen spray to help to dilute the remnants of that Barber Pencil that I put on earlier, and allows it to blend in smoother, and so it doesn't look as obvious. So I'm gonna spray the side here, and as you guys see, I'm using my corners to taper that Barber Pencil down. I'm gonna use my hydro steamer here to bring some moisture and saturate that hair a little bit. The steam also softens the hair, and then it makes the hair ready to absorb the product that I'm gonna put in. Now here, as always, I use Curls for Days by Taraji P. Henson. I wanna make sure that it's dispersed evenly throughout the hair, and I'm using my hands to assist with styling. Using a light pressure, I'm using the rugged side to cut in and part the hair. As you see, I'm taking my time, just making sure that the process is coming together. He asked me how to do it himself, and so I was taking the time out to show him right here. I like when my clients are interested in learning how to do these techniques so they can keep their own hair up. You see he's practicing, my guy. That's speed rapping here. And this is a little bit of a process, you know, it's called styling for a reason. It takes a little bit of the barber's touch to bring everything all together. I'm using my fingertips to actually finalize the look with a little bit of sheen spray, bringing some shine. And here you go, folks. Here's the before and the after. We did a little nice match cut there, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Check out the design, very crispy. Big thanks for watching, folks. And if I skipped anything, if you got any questions, hit me up in the comment section. Do me a favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell icon for future updates. And until next time, stay sharp. Legacy out.